Hello, welcome to Rando Tech Info. So today we're talking about the Xiaomi Mi 10. And for all intents and purposes, we're also talking about the Mi 10 Pro. The Mi 10 Pro will have some fancier features than what I'm about to talk about, but the network compatibility or the connectivity of the phones is identical. So everything I'm saying about the Mi 10 will also apply to the Mi 10 Pro. So getting that out of the way, the Mi 10 is a nice phone. It's got a big bright screen. It's got the latest Snapdragon 865 processor in it. It runs 90 hertz refresh rate on the screen as well. Big battery. Has true stereo speakers, which is kind of interesting. It doesn't cheat and just put sound through the earpiece on the one side of the phone. It actually has two main speakers, one on the top and one on the other side of the phone, which is not something you see in a lot of phones anymore. It does 4K video and it has 30-watt fast charging. So this is a phone that has a lot of premium specs, and for $650 it's a lot cheaper than some other phones that are coming out right now that utilize the Snapdragon 865 processor, specifically Samsung's new S20s, which start at $999. So $650 is sounding pretty good when compared to those devices. Will it work here in the US? So that's an interesting question. This is not a really simple question to answer for this particular device. So because it does have 5G compatibility as well, along with 4G compatibility. So each carrier is a little different. So I'm going to talk about each of the four main carriers, and you can kind of decide for yourself if it's something you think is worth trying or not, depending on who your carrier is. So with Sprint, it will utilize Sprint's 5G network. So if you're really confident in Sprint's 5G coverage, maybe you could give this phone a go. It will not work well on its 4G. It does not utilize its primary 4G band, and it does not utilize its 3G band. So it's 5G only for Sprint. So like I said, you better have a lot of confidence in Sprint's 5G network if you're a Sprint customer and you want to use this phone. For Verizon is pretty much a no-go. It does not use any of Verizon's primary 4G bands. It does not utilize its millimeter wave 5G bands, and it doesn't use its 3G bands. So really with Verizon, there's really no way you're going to get any kind of good coverage with this device. Now, for AT&T and T-Mobile, it does use their primary 4G bands. So your 4G coverage with those phones should be pretty good. It doesn't use all their bands, so you won't get the best coverage, but it should be serviceable in most places. It utilizes their 3G bands as well, but it does not utilize any of their 5G bands. So you won't get any 5G with T-Mobile or AT&T with this device, but should work pretty good on 4G, and it will work on 3G. So hey guys, I was in post-production and I realized I did not mention what version of the phone I was talking about. I'm referring to the global version of the phone. So if you're planning on bringing this phone over to the US, that is definitely the version you need to bring. It is the one that will work the best on the networks here in the United States. Should you get this phone? I don't know. I can't make any kind of blanket recommendation on this particular device. And I have a feeling moving forward, this is going to be the case on a lot of different devices as 5G starts becoming more and more prevalent. It's really just going to be kind of a matter of rolling the dice and trying out whatever frequency bands on whatever generation networks you think will work or trust will work on your carrier. So moving on, I'm just going to kind of deliver the information you guys, and you can make your own decisions as far as whether this is something you want to roll the dice on or not. What I will say is, for $650, this phone's a little more expensive than some of the other phones we talk about on this segment. So when a phone costs $200, $300, rolling the dice isn't quite as risky as rolling the dice on a $650 phone. So anyway, do what you want with that information. I hope you found the information useful either way. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time, this is Rando Tech Info, signing out.